Okay, so join, we talk a little bit about the difference between these two things. You may be thinking calculus is it's very difficult. It's not difficult. All what you do is to practice and understand the rules which are there. You only need to understand the basic rules. So let me just write something here as we are waiting for people to join. So we are looking at the difference between integration and differentiation. So this is calculus. This is calculus. So we need to understand. Oh, Mary, good, you're following. Thank you. Like my video if you're following. Remember to like my video. So people make mistakes between these two things, integration and differentiation. Okay, Betsheba, good, thanks. Okay, differentiation and calculus, they're opposite of each other. So if you say integration, the opposite of integration is differentiation. The opposite of differentiation is integration. So now let's talk about some differences. So one, for integration, let's talk about integration. So for integration, one more thing that you should know is that always you add 1 to the power. Whichever power you have, you add 1. Step number 2, you divide the new power. Okay, you divide the new power that you have. Step number 3, I'll just talk about these 3 things. Every constant to constant, you add a variable. Add variable. So now let me try to give an example of what I'm talking about. So if you have been given something like this is integration. They have given you 2x plus 1, okay? And they say integrate with respect to x. So dx. So this rule number 1, you add a 1 to the power. So what power do we have here? If you're able to see, what power is here at x here? There is power 1. It's more like there's a 1. You can't see anything. So meaning there is power 1. So you're going to say 2x 1. This one which is here plus 1. The power which is here, you add a 1. Okay? And it will give us a 2. So meaning we have a 2, power 2. Okay? So once we get this power 2, step number 2, you divide your new power. Meaning this new power divide. Okay? Does it make sense? So now from here, you say step number 3 only works for a constant. So for example, here we have a constant 1. Any number without a letter is a constant. So what do? You add a variable. So meaning you say plus this same 1 multiplied by x. It will just be x, 1x. You even say plus c. It means you have integrated. You see how simple this thing is. It's not something that is very difficult as we think. Just remember these 3 rules. Let me write them nicely so that we follow them here. Let me write here. Step 1, like I said, add. Step 2, divide. Step 3, constant add variable. Okay, so let me give you another example. Let's say you have something like this. 3x power 3 plus 2x plus 3. Okay? And then they say you integrate with respect to x. What do you do here? Step 1, add 1 to the, okay, Rebecca, thank you very much, you're following, thank you. So add a 1 to each power. So meaning you say this power which is here plus 1, we are adding a 1, add a 1. You're adding a 1, that's a rule. You need to understand these rules. So once you add a 1, so this new power divide. So the new power here, when you add the 1, it will just be 4. Let's just clean it up here. So it will just be 4 when you add the 1 and divide by 4. Plus 2x, what power is here? It's power 1. Rule number 1, add a 1. So you say power 2. Rule number 2, divide that new power which is here, divide by 2. Plus, rule number 3 here stands for a constant. You only... somebody has asked me a question that where is 1 coming from? The 1 we're adding. Bathsheba, the 1 is a rule. That's what we call calculus. This 1 is a rule. It's just a rule that always when integrating, just add a 1 to every power. Just add a 1. It's only 1. This is a rule. There's nothing like thinking. You need to remember that you add a 1. Always add a 1. So now to the constant, this one, we are going to use the rule number 3, which says to the constants, just put a variable. So you're just putting an x, and then you even say plus c. You are done. This is how we do it. So now let's try to talk about differentiation so that you can see that it's opposite. Okay? So I'll write the rules of differentiation here. This one, I'm not going to erase them. So the rules of differentiation, first rule number 1, multiply the power, okay? That's rule number 1, multiply the power by the coefficient. Rule number 2, subtract. Thank you, Rebecca. Subtract the power. So you subtract 1. You subtract 1 from the power. 1 from the power. So you see, here we are adding. Here we start subtracting. So meaning that's why you can see that it's opposite. Here we are adding for integration. For differentiation, we are subtracting. And then rule number 3. For rule number 3, constant should be equal to 0. So every constant should be equal to 0. So I'll tell you what we mean here. So now let's start. But before I give you an example, remember we are running online tuitions. So if you want to join in science, biology, chemistry, you can contact us on 0969175701. So classes start, biology starts from 18 to 19, chemistry 19 to 20, mathematics 20 to 21, and physics 21 to 22 every day. So make sure you join our online tuitions. So now we are going to differentiation. Now we're talking about differentiation. This one. We talked about integration. These are the rules of integration. Now these are the rules of differentiation. So let's start. So let's say you have been given something like this: 2x power 3 plus 2x plus 3. Okay, and then they say differentiate this one. So how do you differentiate this one or find the derivative of this one? You just write dy dx, dy dx. Okay, so now you say rule number 1, multiply the power. So this power multiplied by the number which is in front. So 3 times 2 is 6x. The new power, subtract 1. So 3 minus 1 is 2. Again, the same thing. To this one, what power is here? It's power 1. 1 times 2 is 2. So this power here, subtract 1. You subtract 1. So it will be 1 minus 1, which is equal to power 0. So x power 0, the answer is 1. So 1 times 2. Anything to the power 0, the answer is 1. So this x will just turn into a 1. So meaning you just remain with a 2. That's all. Now, Rule number 3 says every constant is supposed to be 0. So forget about this one because it has no any variable. So meaning it is a 0. This one is a 0. That's so this is your answer. Any question? Is it understood before I cut my broadcast? People were asking me about the difference. So I wanted them to understand the difference between the integration and differentiation. These things, they're opposite of each other. Rebecca, is it okay now? Is it Betsheba? Is it okay? I can see you guys are watching my videos, but you're not liking and commenting. Kindly like. I can see the like is very small. I understand. Thank you. Thank you. Can anybody else also confirm if they are or where you're not clear so that I clarify? Just say, oh, I'm behind here. And please, Betsheba, thank you very much, Betsheba. You understand? Who else? Anybody else who has understood? Okay, so remember these rules. If you are to answer, remember these rules. This is how you differentiate and integrate. Okay. Remember to like my videos as well as join. Oh, Maureen, I just joined. Oh, we are done, but don't worry, you can watch this video. It will be on my YouTube channel. You can watch and understand everything. So now, guys, try to call me or WhatsApp me on the number I've put for you, 0969 175701, so that you do tuitions with us. We are trying to help you pass the exam. So if you'd like to pass the exam, join the exams, join us, join our online tuitions. Thank you.